Logan.
Yes.
That's me.
Yep.
Talking about Logan.
Oh, okay.
Great title. A 2017 film starring Hugh Jackman, the swan song for the Wolverine. Pretty much a payoff for any fan that had been following Hugh Jackman through all those X-Men movies. I put it out on Twitter. This is a 3.9. I think it's just about a perfect movie. And, even the little 0.1 I took off was a nitpick. It's so good, so well made. The action's so raw. I loved it. Absolutely recommend it. I believe, Scotty, you asked me where I streamed it. Did you find out where? I'm pretty sure I rented this.
Yeah, I didn't check.
I'm pretty sure I rented this, but you're right. It should be Disney Plus with that rated R content now.
You've got Fox. You bought Fox.
And this is hard R.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, this is hard R. This is Old Man Logan. This is, spoiler alert for the film, Professor Xavier, X-23. What happened to the original X-Men? Like things where you're going, this is awesome. And we had some fans reach out. We had some people on Facebook jump in on the conversation on this movie. Jay, shout out to you. He says, I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm saying that's the Wolverine we should have gotten a long time ago. Now, imagine if they did that with him from the very beginning with the last X-Men movie. Totally agree. It's almost kind of like this movie came out of nowhere with how good it is. You're like, man, this is way different than X3. Jan C. on Facebook, my favorite superhero movie. It is definitely the movie which boomer film directors should see and realize that superhero genre can pretty much go at any direction they want, and that was Logan, a movie about a superhero that told a story which you don't have to be a superhero to relate to. The movie also has amazing selection of tracks. Thank you, Jan C. Benny M. on Facebook. It's an actual movie, not a CGI F-fest for children like every other superhero movie made, which Andre E. replied to and said, how are they supposed to do this movie without CGI? Which I thought was a really good point. Like, look at this picture I put up here.
Yeah.
Without CGI, this guy's dead.
It's like, we're going to practical effects this one, stunt guy.
Give Hugh the actual surgery with the animanium.
Just in like comic book Twitter, like lately, there's been so many debates about like the amount of CGI being used and stuff where I'm not used to that argument and something I never really thought about. But
I don't think it should matter as long as you don't feel like you're going, this is CGI. Who cares? Like if it's a good movie, like use the technology.
Yeah, I don't until people call it out. And I'm like, oh yeah, that actually does look a little bit weird. But in the movie itself, I don't notice it. I don't.
Yeah, like how would you do like Guardians of the Galaxy and like Eternals?
Yeah,
that'd be tough. Andy, what do you think of Logan?
I love this movie.
Yeah, big fan.
Big fan of the person too.
Oh yeah, thanks. Great title, solid title for sure.
But yeah, I definitely I think this one's due for a rewatch because I've seen it a couple times. But like you guys are saying, like how good it was and all that. Like I definitely remember it was above the like where the X movies were back in the day.
Well, I
didn't remember thinking of it how highly you guys do. But I'd be down for a rewatch.
Well, I did a rewatch, and that's exactly what I did. I watched. I watched X-Men Origins. And then I had already seen X-Men 1 and 2 like somewhat recently, so I skipped past those and jumped to X3, The Last Stand, which is like, is like really the most important one in terms of Wolverine's story. Watch The Wolverine. Like that was pretty cool. Like
that one was good.
I thought it was good too. Yeah. Like, okay, I see what you're doing.
The samurai.
It got a little wild.
Yeah.
And a little bit like, obviously a little bit of like, this guy's playing a game. I had to save Carrie because Carrie sat through with me on like most of those films. And I was like telling her, I was like, I think it's worth it for Logan. And then like once I got through those, I was like, it's not worth it. You don't need to see any of those. Like, and like I was like Days of Future Past. Yeah. I love Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
But really only the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's really just the part with like Professor X and the New Mutants and like the time travel stuff. And then once they actually get back there, I'm kind of like, so I was like, let's just watch Logan. I loved it. Scotty, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I love it. It's based on one of my favorite comics, Old Man Logan.
Which now has a podcast. Audiobook.
Yeah.
I think.
And when they announced it and they started making it, I was really kind of on the fence because in the comic books, it relies a lot on Hawkeye and the Hulk and a lot of characters that they didn't have access to when they made this movie. So I was like, what are they going to do to make this movie right?
Right, because didn't they do a Hawkeye audiobook too? That was also like and then I'm sure they crossed over and
they're doing one right now that I'm getting ready to start is Black Widow.
Oh, nice.
You know, in the same kind of old universe.
Man, that's cool.
And the comic book, fantastic. And I think they did it right here.
Oh, so good.
They hit so many different points. You know, they brought in X-23.
Yeah.
Which had nothing to do with the comics, and I think it perfectly put in
the clone.
Like
the Wolverine
the Wolverine clone.
Yeah.
I mean, when he shows up at that house, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man, and like they showed just like the body parts, which I was like, don't even show that. Just let him show up. Professor X, just like old and senile, and like killed all the X-Men.
Yeah. Which in the comic book, it was Wolverine who did that.
He like went crazy and killed all the X-Men?
Mysterio made him hallucinate and see all the villains.
Oh no.
But it was really the X-Men, and Wolverine killed almost all of them.
Seeing that in a movie?
Yeah.
Or like if I just like randomly just killed you guys.
Yeah, just started stabbing
I thought you guys were like fellow podcast people that I like are competitors. I'm like
I'll lure them in with the chairs.
Yeah.
Welcome to
the last place you ever stood. All right, Logan, 2017. It's a Fox property, but now it's a Disney property with the rated R content on Disney Plus. Maybe one day you'll see it there. Until then, I think you got to go find it.
Yeah.